This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this 2022 Flagstaff Shamrock travel trailer, model number 233S. It's considered a hybrid trailer because of the canvas beds that fold out, okay? So this is not a floor plan video, it's a how-to video. I'm just going to show you some of the features and how they work, okay? You have regular crank down stabilizers right here. You get a 3/4 inch crank with it. This is a grill rail right here, right, where a grill and a metal table can hang on, that both come with it. And this down here, just so you know, is a quick connect for the LP system. So you can put a quick connect rubber LP line and connect it right there, and it connects the other end to the grill. So obviously not hanging there right now, but I'll show you real quick what we're talking about here. This is the hose, obviously. This end connects underneath the trailer to that quick connect I just showed you. And this quick connect is will go right on here. Okay, and then you have gas that for your griddle. The hooks, it hangs right on the rail right here, and then gravity pushes it down and up against the trailer there, so it just hangs on there. Okay. All right. You also have power, TV signal out, and a bracket here. You get both sides of the bracket. So in one of the drawers underneath the benches, there's the other component to this that you put on the back of a TV if you choose to. Okay. Power awning with LED strip. Outside speakers. This is the range hood vent for the range hood that's over the burners. So if you're going to be venting to the outside using the fan that's in the range hood, always remember to push up on these latches till the baffle flaps freely, and there's one baffle it'll flap freely so it vents to the outside. If you're not, like, let's say you're traveling or in storage, you could just keep that shut, but if you're venting, you want it open. Okay, so that's the furnace vent right there. This is the metal table I told you about, right here. It connects the same way to as the griddle itself does. And then you have two cranks. The larger crank that is right here, that's your 3/4 inch. This one is for the power tongue jack. If the power tongue jack should happen to fail and you can't get hitched or unhitched, you can just pull this rubber plug, put this crank right on there, and crank it manually, and you can get yourself out of trouble. Now they give you yet another crank here, which is a little bit different. You can see that it has a cylinder with a slot cut in it. Hopefully you can see that right there. Right? Now if you look through this hole right here, or we look underneath it, which I think is easier, you see this shaft with a pin through it, right? So if you ever need to crank the slide out in and out in an emergency where you have like a power failure or something, for whatever reason, you can use that crank. You hook it up to this this component, this shaft with a pin through it. It'll slip right over it. You can crank the slide room in and out manually. Okay? Alright. Your water heater is right here. Never run the water heater without water in the tank. Always remember that. Your drain for it is right here. It's got an anode rod attached to the back, so it's long. But it takes 1 1/16" 6-point socket. Plus you need a bit of an extension, like a 6-inch extension, and then a ratchet or a bar to break it with. That's where you'll drain it from. Just remember, if you drain it, you use the trailer in the spring and then you drain it because you're not camping again to the fall. Before you turn on any heat source, any electricity or gas, always make sure you fill it back up, okay? That's important, obviously. Okay? 2 deep cycle marine batteries, which are wired together for a 12-volt output. You just double the storage capacity. That's because you have a power inverter, basically, and solar panel. Your two tanks are right here. Automatic changeover regulator. Of course, that's your power tongue jack we just talked about. And here, if you can see it, that's the kill switch for your battery. So you can actually shut the batteries off from right there if you need to. All right, moving along. This is just more storage underneath the dinette. This is your power cord, right? 30 amp, 30 foot cord. Okay, now let's see where we're at with the plumbing here, how they've got this set up so I know. Okay, well, let's start right here then. The most common way to get water to the trailer is the city water connection right here. You just hook the hose at the dumpster, or sorry, at the, not at the dump station. You hook the hose up at your campsite and you're all set. Now, if you're camping someplace that does not have city water, you can come over here and pre-fill your fresh water tank right here. Take the water with you, and then you can use the onboard pump to pump the water. All the plumbing will work as though you've got city water. You just be pumping from the tank. So keep that in mind. Either way, it'll if you're using this, the tank system, everything, all the plumbing will work as normal. Okay. Now you have 3 bunks on the trailer, or 3 fold-out beds. Because I'm here alone, I can't really film it and show you at the same time. But when you pick up, we'll show you. Plus, I highly recommend you look at, if you haven't already, Flagstaff's video for this trailer. And they got excellent setup videos too. And so this will go into some more detail on some things. And it's good to look at their video on others. So like I said, when you pick up, we'll look at them with you. But you can also look at their setup video on their site. So, all right. That housing tells us it's pre-wired for a backup camera, so it takes a Furrion camera, backup camera kit if you're interested. Back to the plumbing here. This compartment is removed just so you can see what's back here. Okay. This is your water pump, your water filter canister, right, and a valve. So this is the valve. Let's talk about that first. When you draw antifreeze into the system, you'll hook a hose up to here. Make one up yourself. Go to Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever you need to go, any hardware store, and make it long enough to touch the ground. And basically, you're going to screw the hose in here and put the other end into a gallon of antifreeze. Then you're going to come over here and you're going to put this valve into this position here. Therefore, it will draw the antifreeze through this line and into the system. When you're in regular camping mode, you're going to have it like this, and that has it draw the water from your fresh water tank, right? To pump it out of your fresh water tank, which is what we want this time of year. Just remember, when you're winterizing, you want it to draw it through this port so you can draw the antifreeze in, okay? There's also a water filter that comes with it, and I'll show you that when we get inside. You can use it if you choose to. Some people use it, some people don't. If you do use it, you got to change it every season. So, and then you have your black tank flush right here. This is after you dump your black tank, which is the toilet water and waste tank, of course, which is this one right here. This one over here is the gray, which is sink and shower water. But after you dump your black tank, you leave the valve open like it is right now. And you'll hook your hose up at the dump station right here. Right? Turn it on, it'll spray out the inside of your tank. Flush it out really well. Clean off the sensor so you get a good reading. So, if there's a working hose that hasn't been run over or smashed at the dump station, definitely use it. It's a good thing to do. It keeps your tank clean. Like I said, your sensors clean too. Cable and satellite through, just coaxes. That's all that is. Okay. And like I said, there's a cover here but it just screws in, so it was left off so you could see that, okay? Alrighty, so I think that does it on the outside. Let's look inside. Okay. So, this trailer, it has a converter and an inverter. The inverter inverts power. It takes 12 volt DC from the batteries and inverts it to 110 AC. Then it sends the 110 AC to some of the receptacles, like that one right there. Therefore, you could plug in if you're boondocking, you have no AC power, you're not plugged into anything, you just run off the solar panel and batteries. You could actually run a blender or something like that if you wanted to for a period of time. That's power inversion. So the inversion takes place here. That's the inverter, right? You turn the inverter on here. You might be able to hear it kick on with this camera, I don't know, but it just did. And so now it will invert power and send it to the receptacle, okay? You only invert power when you need to. You don't keep it running all the time, for example. You just do what you need to. Almost everything in the trailer runs on DC power anyway. Some things have to be AC, like a microwave or an air conditioner or things like that. Everything else is DC power. So, okay. So that's the inverter part of the system. I'll shut it off because we don't need to invert at this point. You hold your finger on the button for a longer period of time to get it to shut off, okay? Then, if I come over here, this is the power inverter. All trailers have one of these. So what this does is it takes regular shore power, 110 AC, right? And sends it to here. This is like the service panel, so to speak, this part of it. And you have regular 110 AC circuit breakers, and they're all labeled right here, right? Just like you'd have at home. Then it converts the DC power, the AC power to DC. So you got 12 volt DC fuses here, and they're labeled, right? So that's where the DC power comes from. Now this is also a battery tender, so it'll sense how much energy your batteries up front need, and as long as you're plugged in, it's going to keep your batteries charged. Of course, when you're pulling down the road, your tow vehicle keeps the batteries charged, and when you all other times the solar panels send many amps as it can generate to the battery, okay, or batteries. They're wired together as one, so it's really one big battery, so to speak. But you're double the storage capacity, like I said. That's mainly because you're storing power from the solar panel, that sort of thing. And to invert, you need a lot of DC power also. So this converts AC to DC power, and it also keeps your battery charged. It's the power converter, okay? Now, I'll go a little farther here. Let me look around. I believe it's probably here. Oh, I know. It's over here. It's all coming back to me now. Okay. So this is your solar controller for your solar panel. It's set for flooded batteries, which are what you have. You don't have to worry about A, because it considers the two that are hooked together one battery, so you pay attention to B. So if I bring B, that's here, right to here, it's telling us you have 13.6 volts in the system, which is excellent. If I push it again, you're gaining 1.4 amps from the sun. You see the sun when the arrow pointing towards the solar panel? You can see that at all. You're right now at this time of day, at this angle, with the weather and conditions like they are, you're getting 1.4 amps. I push it again, you're 100% charged, and you have 291 amp hours. So that's totally chopped off here. So you got 4 readings basically. So the thing to remember is if it starts flashing FUL and the button, it won't respond to the button, it's not broke. It's telling you that the system is 100% topped off. There's no place to put any more energy, so it's shutting the solar panel down till the levels in the battery drop. So keep that in mind also. So if you ever see that FUL and flashing, just give it a little time, and you'll be able to get your 4 different readings from it. Once it starts, it fires the panel back up, and you start storing some more power. Now there is an app for this, right? There are a few more features and that sort of thing, but there's an app for it for your phone, which is several things or a couple things in here anyway have an app. So anyway, below us, that's the solar part of it. So I went over the inverter, which is inverting DC to AC power, the converter, which is converting AC to DC power, and then your solar controller. Okay, all right. So right here you have the air conditioner. I'll just turn it on here, which I should have done before. Try to always keep it on auto. It's the best way to run it. But you have your fan, cool, which we're on now. You have fan, which is just the air conditioner running without the compressor, off, and then heat. Heat is obviously your propane furnace. It lights automatically, so it makes 3 attempts to light. If it doesn't light within 3 tries, which it shouldn't, they always light, but if for some reason it didn't, you can just click it to the off position, wait a few seconds, click it back on, and run through the cycle again. Okay, all right. Here we have a hookup for a TV here and a backer plate if you want to add another TV here. Okay, so that's how the power works. Right here you can drop the table down and set it on these cleats here. There's 5 of them, or 4 of them anyway, 4 of them, and you can turn this into a bed if you want. You should always really travel with this in the down position too, so it doesn't bounce around and break something. To put it down, you're going to push this yellow knob on this yellow knob on this lever. Push it towards the right, you'll hear a click, and then you just collapse it at the hinges, and it'll drop right down onto those cleats. Okay, when you bring it back up, you just sort of step on it and bring it up until you hear it click and lock into place. All right, your bed folds over this way. It rolls over and turns, or excuse me, your couch turns into a bed by rolling over this way, and you get another place to sleep along with your bunks. I showed you the inverter, so we got that covered. Each bunk has one of these here, which is for a fan light combo that plugs in. Here's one right here. It clips on the, excuse me, I'm pointing the camera. It clips onto one of the poles and then plugs in, and then it's got a fan switch, 2 speeds for the fan, and then a light. So you get 3 of those, and then you get 3 of these controllers for the mattresses. It's a mattress warmer. It doesn't actually heat it, but it warms it. This side plugs into the mattress. There's a plastic receptacle for it, and then the other end goes into the closest 110. Okay, 3 of each of those. Now, the other half of the TV bracket. This is for your filter canister, the wrench for it. Filter various things. This piece here. Let me take it out. Is actually a tire monitor if you choose to use it. So the wheels all have a sensor that's actually attached to the wheel on the inside of the tire, directly across from the valve stem. So you can read up on it. It'll basically tell you the temperature of your hubs. It'll tell you your air pressure. There's you can set alarms to go off if you choose to, and you take this piece up into your tow vehicle with you, and it's actually a monitor. So, okay, that's and there's also I believe an app for this, although I better not swear to it. But you get an app for this. This is the control panel. You have your lights. Your awning light, for example. Slide room in and out. Awning right here. Never leave the awning out unattended. If you're not at the campsite, roll it in. Okay. To let your water, or to turn on the electric heating element on your water heater there, to turn on the gas burner right there, never run it without water in it. Your water pump is turned on here. That's used for pumping water out of the fresh water tank. Is also used to winterize the trailer. You have tank heaters on this, so each of your holding tanks has a heating pad on it, plus there's one around each elbow too. So it extends your camping season greatly. All your levels are here. Okay, this is telling us you have a Wi-Fi Ranger, which is this button right here. The Wi-Fi Ranger is a digital signal booster that's on the antenna is on the roof. It's like a router with an antenna, basically. And the name of it is Tenton 9715. So you can look at all your family's phones or tablets, and you can find that Tenton. What did I say was 97.6 or 15? You'll find that, and then you can put a password in all of your devices to log onto that automatically. Then in a browser, you can go to this address on the bottom here. To log in, you can use Change Me Now 9715, and you'll see everything the Wi-Fi Ranger sees. Once you do that, you could pick out, let's say, the campground Wi-Fi, for example. You log on to it. So basically all your phones and everything are logging onto the Wi-Fi Ranger automatically, and then you have to physically pick out what public Wi-Fi you want to use. But it's got a great signal booster. It really does a good job. So that's the Wi-Fi Ranger. Okay, so your microwave works like any other microwave. This is the range hood. Remember I told you about the vent. Always open the baffle if you're venting to the outside. Your range, 3 knobs for 3 burners. This is the sparker. You turn it clockwise to spark it, and that's for the oven. Let me see if we got gas up to it. I don't know if he's got it on or not. It looks like not. So we'll make sure it's on when you pick up. So you turn clockwise to spark it. The oven is a little different in that it's got a pilot light all the way at the back there. You can probably maybe see it spark, I don't know. But the thing is, you go to the oven. Now you go to the picture of the flame, you depress it, you light the pilot light. After it lights, you keep this held in for another 10 or 15 seconds to heat up the thermocouple. Then you go to operating temperature. When you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to remember to light the pilot light before each time you use the oven. You can't leave it lit. Okay. All right. This is a TV remote. Your keys are hanging here, obviously. Let me do this here with one hand if I can. If not, oh yeah, I got it. So this is your swing out bracket. The only thing to remember here is this green light should be on, like you see it glowing green right there. You can shut it off with that button if you want, but you won't get a good picture. That's the signal. That's the signal booster for the digital antenna, so you want that on. It locks into place by this piece here, if you can see it. Locks onto here. Okay. Your sound, it plays CDs and DVDs, AM, FM radio. You have Bluetooth, so you can stream wirelessly from your phone or tablet. You got a USB in. You have a USB connection, plus you have a HDMI in to go into the system with anything you want, like a portable Blu-ray player or whatever you want to go in there with. Okay, you do that there, and then you have 2 speaker zones, 1 and 2. 1 is inside the trailer, 2 is outside the trailer. So you got that. Your carbon monoxide LP gas detector is right here. If it's not glowing green, get it serviced. Okay, that's important. So make sure it's always glowing green. Alrighty. Toilet works like any RV toilet. It sits right over a black tank. There's the flush pedal there. So when you get to the campground, you hook up your power and your water, you put a dose of chemical in the bowl, then you'll stand on the pedal and let at least a gallon of water flow into the black tank below along with the chemical, then it's ready to be used. You can't use it dry. If you don't put chemical and water in the tank, the smell will be terrible, plus it'll get clogged up and you'll have problems with it. So make sure you always have chemical and water in there, okay? Last but not least, first of all, you have a 4-speed fan there, keep that in mind. This is a shower miser. So this basically, it recirculates the water around in a loop between the water pump, the water heater, and here. So normally, when you're heating up your water to take a shower, it just goes down the drain till it gets to the temperature you want, right? But in some places with drought conditions or water shortages, it's not a good thing to do. So it just circulates the same water around and around and around until it heats up. When it heats up, this will turn a beige color. You'll see it plain as day. Then you can flip your lever over there and it'll work like a regular shower. The shower will turn on. Therefore, by circulating the water around and around, you're not going to waste water and you're not going to waste space in your gray tank with perfectly good water. So it's an eco device and it works really well. As with all the components in here, you can look in your packet for literature. You can also go to their websites and see their manufacturer videos, and if you're interested in learning more about it anyway, okay? Alrighty. I think that about does it. So let me look around here. I think we got it. Okay. You have a second vent here too. Now, if you're camping and you start to get condensation, if it's that time of year, you start to get condensation, you turn these on low, right? And it'll pull any condensation out. You'll never have an issue with it. So keep in mind, you should never, anytime you see this first hint of it, you put these fans on low, you won't hardly be able to hear them, and it will pull all the condensation out, okay? That's the important thing to know too. So remember that. So, okay, well, I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer at National RV Detroit. As I started to mention, I don't think I got into too far, always inspect your roof. The manufacturer says inspect it every 60 days or so. You're just looking at, at the sealant, make sure there's no cracking or separation. Look at the roofing materials and roofing attachments, make sure they weren't damaged by, let's say, low branches or road debris. Your odds are you're not going to have to do anything to the roof for years, but you still inspect it regularly as part of your regular maintenance, and inspect it regularly because you want to stay ahead of any problems. That's very important, okay? And right now we're in camping mode. There's no antifreeze in the system. It's all fresh water. Your water heater is in camping mode and it's full right now, so you're all set. Remember, don't run the water heater without watering it, okay? Thank you.